Good morning, Saskatoon. So the NSBA has got a big meeting today, which is poignant because Mark Regier, the CEO of Prairieland Park, is presenting. Of course, he'll be trying to slant people to understand his way of thinking and not to think about the obvious, which is like the city solicitor for the city of Saskatoon. Very highly paid individual that has a real problem reading basic English, in my view. I'm a professional planner, and I've never seen anybody ignore the zoning bylaw as far as the city solicitor and the city manager, Jeff Jorgensen, obviously are. So we need to change that. I think that as citizens we can affect some change here, so please bear with me and follow this. So the Planning and Development Act 2007 says the zoning bylaw binds the municipality. The zoning bylaw or amendment is binding on the municipality and on all other persons, associations, or organizations, and no development shall be carried out that is contrary to the zoning bylaw. That is the Provincial Act, the Planning and Development Act 2007. The city does not have any more authority than that, so they have to follow that themselves. They can't give a free pass to Prairieland Park because they want to, because they're friends with them. None of that. The Cities Act says, granting rights over municipal land, buildings, or structures, that they are still subject to any other act, which means they are still bound by the zoning bylaw because that's followed by the Planning and Development Act. It's backed by it. So if you can't breach the Planning and Development Act, you have to follow the zoning. It states clearly in the lease under 9.10, observance of laws and regulations, that they must follow laws from the federal, provincial, and municipal government. Municipal bylaw 8770 is a law backed by the Planning and Development Act. So the city can't circumvent it for themselves, and they can't let Prairieland Park do it just because they want to. So the game with the solicitor saying that she's not aware of things that they're doing out there, at her pay rate, you should be aware. Everybody in the city is aware that they're running a bar out there. Everybody in the city is aware that they're doing banquet facilities, catering. They've got a restaurant and a lounge. So if you're not aware, it's time that you either get aware or we get somebody in that high-paid job that can do basic work like this, because you're hurting the city. The other thing is Prairieland Park directly competes with the City of Saskatoon venues as well as lawful tax-paying commercial venues, which should be a conflict of interest for councillors, because now they're supposed to represent the tax-paying businesses, and those businesses are being hurt by Prairieland Park, and they're also supposed to represent the city venues, and they're being hurt by Prairieland Park. So there is a conflict there. Whether you want to talk about it or not, you better start. The Municipal Planning Commission has a public meeting on Tuesday, March 30th, and it's very interesting because what they're doing is their commission is working on integrating, finding ways to mesh together all of our zoning bylaws with Martensville, Corman Park, probably Warman, so that they have commonality in them. The one area that they have to align is the ag zoning segment, which is where Prairieland Park resides, is on ag. So they specifically make this comment, which is telling. So listen. The ag and FUD districts, future urban development districts, include a list of prohibited uses. It is recommended that the list of prohibited uses be removed in both districts. The list of prohibited uses is not required in the zoning bylaw. If a use is not listed as permitted or discretionary use, it would be not allowed in these districts. So obviously, if it's not permitted and in writing, or a discretionary use and in writing, it shouldn't be there. And yet, there's a bar, a lounge, a restaurant, catering facilities, banquet facilities, all of these things taking place on Prairieland Park, and none of that is listed in the zoning bylaw. And if the solicitor wants to claim it is, you're a lawyer, prove it to me right now and put it out so the public can see it. The last part about this is that the city rezoned some land right on the corner of this property right by the Western Development Museum. It was zoned ag, but it wasn't marketable. They had to put a zoning on it so that people could develop it, which is ironic. So they rezoned it to IL1. Well, I would ask the city solicitor why that needed to be done, because by her own statement, she's agreeing that you could run a bar, a restaurant, a lounge, a banquet hall, a catering facility, and probably more all within ag. Why would you need to rezone that to be able to do anything with it? Obviously, if you follow that logic, then they could have done anything on that land and you wouldn't need to spend the time and money to rezone it. Anyway, Saskatoon, pay attention. I think we need some help. I think if you've got the time, write to the city solicitor and ask her specifically to give you the proof as to where Prairieland Park's Sports on Tap, all of those uses, and also the uses of the World Trade Center fit within ag zoning, because she won't give it to me and she hides behind not being aware. Let's make her aware. Thank you. Have a good day.